So, people of the Arrowverse, the other day I went over kind of everything we know so far about Crisis on Infinite Earths. Don't look at this as like a part 2, but more like an update 1.2, if you know what I mean, because there's going to be loads of stuff coming out in the coming weeks and months until we get Crisis. But in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Bruce Wayne in Crisis on Infinite Earths, something I didn't think I'd say, even though there's a bit more to it than that, Black Lightning, and a whole bunch of other things. So let's break all of this down. What is up, people of the Arrowverse? No need to say Superflies, Vigilantes, because it's all of you and the Speedsters and stuff as well. Today, we're going to go over some exciting news. As I mentioned in the intro, I've already done a video, so check it out if you want to know everything we know coming out of Comic-Con in terms of Crisis on Infinite Earths. So I'll leave that in the cards above. But today, over the weekend, when I didn't make any videos because I was just doing whatever I was doing, a bit of information came out. And as you all know, I'm a big Batman fan. And Kevin Conroy is one of the names that will be coming to Crisis on Infinite Earths, and more about that in a second. But before we get into all the other news as well that I'll be covering, be sure to subscribe to this channel, guys, for more Arrowverse updates and everything like that. Also, just leave some suggestions down in the comments below. I love making video suggestion content on the channel. Join my Discord server. I know I'm plugging here, but I really would love to see more of you guys in the Discord server if you want to talk about Arrow things with me, Flash, anything super, anything, any TV show. We have all kinds of categories and stuff to talk about in there. And of course, like this video if you do go on to enjoy it. But first of all, let's go over the dates for Crisis on Infinite Earths, which leads me into a couple of theories of my own. Just going off dates. So the first one is Supergirl, Sunday, December 8th on 8/7 Central on the CW. Then followed by Batwoman on the Monday. Then we get The Flash on Tuesday, and then that is it. That's like the hiatus for the winter, if you will, Christmas break, and you know the show's come back. In January, we have Arrow on Tuesday, January 14th. Which is going to be a very interesting episode, I bet, and Legends of Tomorrow, Tuesday, January 14th as well. And the reason why I said theory a second ago is just because it's interesting that they put The Flash as the final episode in the crossover, if that makes sense, before we go on that Christmas break, because you know what this whole 2024 news article down to 2019 has all been about, and that is the article where Barry goes missing. So I feel like it makes so much sense, obviously, to put The Flash as the cliffhanger episode, because we all know he's not really going to die. I think we all know we're going to get, Barry with the rest of Season 6, obviously, and Season 7 of The Flash. But it wouldn't surprise me if they do like a cliffhanger where it seems that Barry dies, but really, even if Oliver doesn't make a sacrifice here, even if it's, what I was thinking, it would be Earth 90s, the John Wesley ship Barry Allen who dies instead of our Barry Allen. What if they don't do any of that? They leave it on a cliffhanger, which makes fans and critics alike just think, oh my god, but what if they do kill Grant Gustin's Barry? Do you know what I mean? I feel like they could leave it on something like that. And then when it returns in January with Arrow's episode, that will be maybe when, Oliver's sacrifice comes out and maybe things get reversed a little bit, or who knows what could go on. It's just going to build up the hype and the worry for the fans about their favorite characters, I'm sure. Not to say that this won't be a crossover without actual big consequences anyway. There will be deaths, but I think most of the deaths will be on the new characters, such as, instead of Tyler Hoechlin's Superman dying, probably be the new Superman, Brandon Routh's Kingdom Come Superman, stuff like that. Okay, so since that took up way too much of the video already, with the Crisis on Infinite Earths dates, let's talk about Kevin Conroy is coming to freaking Crisis on Infinite Earths as a future Bruce Wayne. Now, this has been spoken about already. Correct me if I'm wrong, this is Kevin Conroy's first live action. As you guys know, he's been a definitive voice for Batman for years and years, going back to the animated series. He's done so many things. He's just nostalgic. He's ingrained in our childhoods, whether that's through the animated series, whether it's through games like the Arkham games or whatever. So I think that's how he's the definitive voice for Batman for a lot of people. Plus, his normal voice is basically Batman's. So the fact that he's going to be stepping into the Arrowverse as Bruce Wayne is a big thing, because, for example, Mark Pedowitz, as already said before, we're not going to be getting Bruce Wayne in the Arrowverse anytime soon, and that's still true, even though we are getting Bruce Wayne in Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's because the chances are, guys, this Bruce Wayne isn't going to be our Earth's Bruce Wayne. How do I know that? Well, there's a few things. And some of you may be like, well, duh, Boba, but I'm just saying this for people who generally may have thought that this could be our Bruce Wayne. This Bruce Wayne evidently is a lot older. I'm not saying Kevin Conroy is absolutely ancient or fossil or anything, but he's an older Bruce Wayne. Now, Bruce Wayne in the Arrowverse, he is the first vigilante, but that doesn't make him as old as Kevin Conroy is. He's Ruby Rose's, Batwoman's, Kate Kane's cousin. He's just gone missing in the Arrowverse. Like, they don't know where he's gone. He's probably gone off on his own, mission. But what I'm trying to say is this is still a Batman who's still potentially into his 30s or 40s in the Arrowverse. So this Bruce Wayne we're getting through Kevin Conroy, he's probably another Earth's one. It wouldn't surprise me if he's coming alongside the Kingdom Come Superman. So, Brandon Routh Superman's coming into Crisis on Infinite Earths. Wouldn't be surprised if Bruce Wayne comes from the same world. They're obviously, in the comic run, a bit older in that story anyway. Obviously, Kevin Conroy's older than Brandon Routh, but do you know what I mean? It would make sense if those two came from the same place. Even if they didn't, I'm telling you now, it won't be our Bruce Wayne. Because this Bruce Wayne could literally answer just saying, when somebody asks, oh, where have you been all this time in, like, Batwoman continuity? Like, why did you leave Gotham? Blah, blah. He would just be able to give all the answers. It's not going to be that Batman. But either way, it's going to be really cool that we're getting a Batman. Even if it's going to be a very older Batman in terms of, probably pictures you're seeing on screen right now, it'll probably be that kind of Bruce Wayne. But this would have been a seasoned Dark Knight anyway. He would have probably retired from being Batman. But to put a bow on that, guys, let me know your thoughts on Kevin Conroy coming to Crisis on Infinite Earths to play Bruce Wayne, which is just insane in the Arrowverse. We're actually getting a first live-action Bruce Wayne, even though it's going to be kind of a completely different version to what we would probably usually ask for. It's still amazing nevertheless. What role do you think he'll have in Crisis? I think it will be something probably advisory. I don't see him busting out a load of moves in a Batman suit. They wouldn't do that anyway. It will probably be, as I said, like Bruce with a cane or something like that. Mentorship role, maybe. Now, with regards to other characters, such as, if you want to see Tom Welling appear, or if you want Michael Rosenbaum, and just other legacy characters or Smallville characters, Mark Guggenheim has actually already commented on this recently and said, like, he would like to see at least one Smallville character, as it's such a big part of DC TV history. He also said, I guess I can say every single day I have a conversation with some casting director or some agent. Now, even Stephen Amell has said at the same time, if there's anyone, I would want Tom Welling. It's what the fans want. So, it's like what Guggenheim is saying there is like, he would like to see someone, so it's Stephen Amell. Mark Guggenheim saying, well, let's just put it this way, I do speak to, a talent agent or like a casting director, like kind of every day. So I'm not saying I've said things are happening, but it might be being spoken about. So I think, there is no news right now. It could be coming out as I'm making this video. But as for Tom Welling, it's possible. As Mark Guggenheim said, it is such a big DC TV history event. Why not come over? Come on. It's just like, come on, give you a little bit of money. Just come over and do this. Not just for TV, or I understand you might not want to be in the superhero cape again kind of thing, but it's such a big thing within itself. Come on, if we give you a bit of money, why don't you come over anyway? It might be that kind of thing. They might be trying to talk things out. I think, obviously, some actors and actresses are more happy to come over, some more than others. Some might cost a lot of money. At the end of the day, it is business. Some people might be busy, but we're gonna have to watch this space in terms of more characters coming on top of Kevin Conroy, on top of all the other people we spoke about as well. In other news, guys, surprise, surprise, Black Lightning is coming to Crisis on Infinite Earths. Is that a surprise? Yes and no. Just from the fact that we've all known for years, like, so guys, when you're coming over, but whether that's the showrunners and even the actors and actresses of Black Lightning saying things like, oh, we don't need to be a part of the Arrowverse. Fair enough. Fair enough, they've been doing things quite independently, completely independently, and whenever you look at interviews online from years ago or not, they'd say, like, we don't see the need to be a part of it, so we're not catering to that for now. Never say never kind of thing. I don't think they even said never say never. It was very like, we don't need to be a part of them, we don't see why we need to be a part of the Arrowverse, so for now we're not going to be. But now Crisis is here, it's been brought forward a few years, Black Lightning's coming. And it makes sense, think about it, this is Crisis on Infinite Earths. It would be pretty silly if the showrunners, I think they said they wouldn't have done anything if they wouldn't have signed off on it at all. But it would have been weird if they were like, no, we don't want to be a part of your massive planet Earth's connecting cataclysmic event, like, that we could be easily written into because it's Crisis. It would have been weird if they would have been that stubborn because they didn't want to ride off the back of the Arrowverse, which is fair enough at the same time. But either way, Black Lightning is coming. I don't know how much of a role he's going to play in it. There's a lot they need to do anyway within 5 hours of these 5 main shows. So it's just crazy. It's crazy. I don't think he'll have a massive role, but I expect to see him in it intermittently, if that makes sense. Last of all, everyone, I wanted to leave off on some news regarding what kind of next DC property will the CW be doing. Maybe that's even news to you, that they're looking for, yes, another property to make a show about. This is on top of Batwoman. Now, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. They have no plans on getting rid of the Arrowverse anytime soon. That makes sense through anyway, the fact that we're getting a Batwoman series. Arrow's finished now, basically, with season 8 ending. The Flash is going to be up on its contract in terms of like 7 seasons next year. Will it end then? Won't it end then? It could honestly go either way. I think The Flash could end in season 7, but it could go for a season 8. But it would be very similar to what predicament Arrow was in. It's like, do we go out for another season? Maybe we do, just because Crisis is on the way. But after we've done Crisis now, will Flash need to stretch out for an 8th season? I feel like The Flash is kind of spent most of its tokens in the arcade, if I'm being honest, in terms of, you know, they could spend season 7, make it the last season, and wrap it up with the Reverse Flash, if that makes sense. They could do more, of course they always could, but it's the same thing with Arrow. Do they want to keep it going, or do they want to go out when it's right? I know that was a bit of a side thing. I'm just talking about what a show. Supergirl obviously got more tokens to be spent at the arcade, so to speak. Weird analogy. Batwoman, obviously it's new series. So they need another property, really, another thing. So this is what they've said about it. But this is also, for those of you who don't want this show, kind of like me, no offense to the actors or actresses, but they mention the Arrow future scenes spin-off show. And with regards to that show specifically, they said there's a possibility, but we haven't fully had the discussion about that one way or another, Mark Pedowitz said. And that was in strict relation to the future forward scenes show of the Arrowverse, Arrow, with the Green Arrow's daughter and all of that. It's okay, but do you really want to watch that show? Like, seriously, every week, 22 episodes, give or take, in future Star City. It just, I wouldn't, it would flop. It would flop within 3 seasons. I'm just saying it. I'm just, no disrespect, I'm just gauging it, vibing it. Really couldn't see that working in the long run. It would, not saying it wouldn't be a cool 12-episode one-off season, though. However, Mark Pedowitz went on to say that right now, there's another property that we're looking at for next season. Now, God, what could this be? Who knows? It could be anything. People were talking about several different things. I remember last summer I made a video. Everyone was making videos about, you know, with the Elseworlds crossover coming to a close, or maybe it was just photos being leaked before it actually happened, saying, oh, they're testing out the waters for a Superman TV show starring Tyler Hoechlin, obviously, and Elizabeth Tulloch for Lois Lane. People will probably reply to this video in the comment section saying, oh, they won't do that because Tyler Hoechlin's Superman's going to die in Crisis. Well, that could happen, but it would make more sense to me if you're introducing Brandon Routh's Superman, why not introduce him but also kill him off, because he's not the Superman cliche-wise of the Arrowverse. That's Tyler Hoechlin. So say what you will about that. Would love your feedback in the comments below. What do you think? What are your opinions? Other than that, I've seen whispers of a Canaries show. There could be other actual superheroes that people are on about as well. I saw people speaking on articles about Blue Beetle, or like the Question kind of show. They could do that, but I'm personally wanting characters like this to live on through like DC Universe. That would be really cool, because it's a lot more of a mature place, a bigger production, and that would feel a lot more cooler there, just personally. But what do you think this property could be about that they're looking at for next season? Let me know down in the comments below, guys. I know this has been a bit of a blubbery, random blubber thought video, but I hope you enjoyed it. It was just one of those news videos where I kind of wanted to react to it, give my thoughts and opinions on it, and just speculate a bit. But I'm really excited for Crisis, guys. This is a monumental piece of history that is taking place at the end of this year. Other than that, everyone, like the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe for more Arrowverse news like this. Talk about the DC TV stuff with me personally on my Discord server popping up somewhere. Follow me on social media. Support me on Patreon if you want to. Check out the tiers. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.